Okay, we just kind of showcase most of the bugs that I think are player abusable. I'm gonna ignore red bug because it's a pain in the ass. So the first one is poltergeist doesn't go through the accuracy check, and so we can prove that by hitting poltergeist on an invulnerable target. So we can wait for this to go for Phantom Force. Whenever it wants to go poltergeist. Okay. I mean not poltergeist, whenever it wants to go Phantom Force. So it's a Phantom Force right now, and poltergeist can still hit it. So you can use this to ignore Bright Powder, Double Team, whatever. Yep. Okay. This one is okay. So this one's my favorite one to use. Future Sight works differently in Run and Bun from vanilla. How you set it up is usually what I thought. 7. Okay. How you set up Future Sight is you pop it turn 1. You need a filler turn, doing whatever else you need to do. And then if you kill the Mon on the same turn that Future Sight would hit, then the Future Sight will hit the next target. The second bug here is Burn Up. Burn Up will consume 2 PP, and if you kill the Mon with Burn Up, you don't actually lose your fire typing. So we didn't lose our fire typing here. Beware comes in, Future Sight comes in and hits it. Like so. So you can use this to snipe incoming Mons. Pretty commonly used bug. And to prove that we didn't lose our fire typing, we could burn up the second Mon. You can still technically click burn up here, but because there's 1 PP left, it doesn't actually burn up. It'll use up the PP and then nothing happens afterwards. So you'll waste your turn. So, like so. And then Savali takes his turn. Which is obviously not what you do here. Okay. So that's that. Next we have we have this. This is another common bug that we use with Glyphsapod, called double exit. Whatever. So you can hit once, you activate citrus or whatever healing. Normally in vanilla you can only oh shit, that's not good. More sequencing. Normally in vanilla you can only exit once per battle, but you can exit multiple times in Run and Bun. So we go here. Oops, did not mean to show that one. But yeah, at least. We can prepare this. So you exit 1 here, and you can exit again if you drop below 50% a second time. And you can also do it a 3rd, 4th, or 5th time if you're able to heal back up with Wish or something. Yeah, that's double exit. Next is what is a more recent bug. Community started calling it Jutsu. How it works is basically um 6 Cherry berry. Okay. So we see here we cherry berried and pre-status, and this is the moveset, whatever. So how Jutsu works is basically move storage. If you activate emergency exit and activate an item on Galissapod, and you didn't use the move yet, then it would use the move in the same slot of the move you clicked. So here, Roost is on the second slot here. We get hit to emergency exit range. We activate a berry. If we go into here, and we activate another item, we'll use our second slot, which is Draco Meteor right here. Right? So that's the beginning of it. Jutsu can also be activated in there's additional ways it can be activated, but the only legal ways in Run and Bun right now, player accessible legal, is 1, forewarning, the only Jinx. So Jinx right now has no berry, protected pass for fun, has forewarning. So we use our second slot here, we exit, and we go here. We'll activate our second slot attack. We'll also activate his Intimidate, similar to Frisk. You might find some use out of this, you might not, if you specifically have Jinx. This also works with Frisk. So we go into... I don't have my Friskmon. Give me 1 second. Hold on, let me set this up real quick. Good enough. So we have Frisk on Wyvern. The same thing, we use our second slot move, activate exit. And because we have Frisk, this also activates Jutsu. We also reactivate his Intimidate. So we activate slot 2 move. There's one more weird part to this now, where if you have Trace. So we have Cherry Berry and... But this is this one is kind of weird. So we're gonna activate Jutsu here. We're gonna go into a Trace Mon. Trace doesn't activate on this turn because this takes priority. We activate Jutsu, and if you kill with Jutsu, what's it Outrage? Oh my god, it's on 1. So if we kill with Jutsu, with Trace, Trace doesn't activate on this turn. That didn't kill. I guess it's the range. Sure, whatever. So if you kill with Jutsu with a trace mon, the trace doesn't activate, but it activates on the next mon that comes in. So now Beware comes in, and then you trace Fluffy. Kind of silly. There's some a bit more application with this. We go here. We'll have Choice Scarf on Alakazam, which means it's the fastest mon on the field. What happens here is Medicham is gonna fake out the Galissapod. So, if we use a priority move in a double battle, we could see the speed that your incoming Jutsu-mon will use, right? So if we use a priority move, will the mon coming in come in and use the move at a priority speed? So fake out is like plus a million. We come in, activate Jutsu, and you see Alakazam goes first. So that means we don't get the move at priority speed. But then now, do we get the speed of Galissapod, or do we get the speed of Dragapult? So if we take off Choice Scarf here, we see that Dragapult is faster than Alakazam naturally. And obviously Galissapod is slower than Alakazam. We go to Dragapult, and Dragapult moves first if it takes Dragapult speed. So whatever mon comes in is dynamic speed. And then more recent usage of this is this one probably is incredibly hard to set up. In the case where an enemy mon brings you to emergency exit with explosion or self-destruct or whatever, if you use a priority move, on the turn it explodes. Explodes. Next one comes in. You don't actually exit until your next turn. So if we click Avalanche here, I did Avalanche because it gets slower. Somehow you live the next turn of attack. You exit on this turn, and Jutsu is stored here. And you fire off your second slot move if whatever move you click is on your second slot. Fun. If you use a priority move on the second turn, on the explosion turn, if you use use a priority move here and then use a priority move again, you exit before you take an action, but you don't have move storage here because you already used a turn. And nothing happens here, and then we take this turn. And then we have the other normal one where the game freezes. If any enemy explodes and you use a normal move, you exit out, and the game freezes right here. Nothing happens. Yeah. Oh, that's as far as I know how far Jutsu goes, at least. I don't think I had anything else here. Yeah, we did Frizz, did Forewarning, Double Exit, 8 tiers here, and that extra thing. There's like a bunch more, not a bunch more, but there's a few more player abusable ones. There's a nerf that makes there's a nerf one, but that's part of a different section. How to another time. But the most common other one that I didn't go over is like the spread one, spread bug. But that one's more documented and you'll probably find more information. Okay. Good enough for one. I don't really care about editing. So I'll just export this.